Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. Hope everybody's having a good evening so far. We have a lot to cover in terms of the severe weather outbreak that has already begun. We currently have 6 tornado warnings to get to that are currently ongoing. I'll get to those in just a moment. Before we get too far into this, make sure to hit the like button down below so this gets out to more people. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're new here. All right, let's get right into the tornado warnings. We are first going to begin with Kansas. There are currently about 4 different tornado warnings ongoing, including 3 new ones that were just issued that only go for another 4 minutes or so here, all of them being just to the north of Dodge City. These are all currently moving off to the northeast. Jetmore is included in one of them, and there's also another tornado warning just off to the north of there. Both of these new tornado warnings were issued for approximately just 10 minutes. Let's hop right over to the velocities right now and give you an idea of what's happening here. So right now, what we're kind of watching with these cells in particular is with this cluster of storms, are going to have some of these little spin-ups, and I'm not seeing anything too defined here at the moment, but there are a couple of areas to be monitoring. One is just to the west of Jetmore, and another one's actually going to be heading towards Jetmore over the next few minutes. So if you're in either of these areas, make sure to get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in the interior room of your home or building. This is a definitely pretty dangerous area of storms though that we're watching. Moving off to the northeast, Hanston will be in the track of this eventually, and again, these storms right now, they're really quick moving. They're going around 60 to 70 miles per hour. So if you're anywhere near Burdett, for example, you can expect these storms within the next 30 to 45 minutes. These aren't slow moving storms by any means. A little bit further down to the south and as well as southwest, we have another tornado warning ongoing for 3 more minutes. It's going to be this pocket of rotation here. Again, that is north of Dodge City. So if you're in Dodge City, you are currently fine because you're not under a tornado warning. There is a severe thunderstorm warning though for you for 60 or 70 mile per hour damaging winds along with half-dollar sized hail. This is another pocket of rotation that we're watching. Again, not that defined here. It is still a little bit broad, but it will be something to watch for as these storms continue to march out to the north and northeast at a fairly quickly rate. Again, these storms are moving around 60 miles per hour right now. We have another tornado warning south of Dodge City. This one's gonna be northwest of Ashland near Menelio. I don't know how to say it, but it's just south. Again, it's just to the east of Fowler. That's where we're looking for this tornado warning. This currently is ongoing for, again, some rotation just to the south of 54. Let me go over the velocities and see what we've got here. So I'm not seeing as much rotation with this cell. We can go back a few minutes here and see what's happening, but I am not seeing anything too defined on this rotation. So if we go a little bit in motion here, this is the last few minutes. Not seeing anything too defined. The only area of rotation that I might be concerned about would probably be right in here. So that's just south of 160. That'll be going towards 283 and 160 over the next few minutes. So if you're in these areas, again, make sure you get to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible. So that's our other tornado warning here. Another one's also ongoing back down in Texas, just to the east of Amarillo. This will be approaching Oklahoma City over the next several minutes. We have a couple of tornado warnings. One expires in 2 minutes. We have a new issued one for 32 more minutes. That is going to include areas near Wheeler. Let's go and put on the reflectivity so you can kind of get a general idea of what we're looking at here. So these are the storms. Again, we have an organized line of storms attempting to develop right now. This may become our derecho tonight. So that's what we're watching back out here to the west of Oklahoma right now. But the area of a tornado warning is for those near Wheeler, Texas, as well as Kellerville and as well as Allison. Those areas are currently included in this tornado warning for the next several minutes. Let's go over to the velocities again and let's kind of investigate here and see where the rotation is. Not seeing anything too defined. We are far away from the radar site. My best guess though on terms of where the rotation is located is likely going to be in this little couplet here. You can see that inflow going into the storm near 273. That is likely where we are seeing some rotation. We are far away from the radar site, so it's a little bit difficult to see the velocities this far out, but that is definitely the area where we probably have the highest amount of rotation, or at least where the rotation exists with this supercell as it's going to continue to move off to the east northeast over the next several minutes. Again, if you're in Wheeler, Texas, make sure to get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, in an interior room of your home or building. And so this is a look at the line of storms, by the way. These are very impressive cells. We have a pretty massive hail core starting to develop here north of Silverton, as well as just to the west of Clarendon. These areas are starting to see some pretty significant hail. Looks like not just that, damaging winds with these cells are currently around 70 to 75 miles per hour, and we've already had reports upwards of 75 miles per hour in Amarillo about an hour and a half ago when these storms rolled through, and even near Boger, those areas have seen upwards of 75 mile per hour damaging winds. So far, the highest hail report that we've had is right around nickel size, but I definitely would not rule out higher hailstones hailstones than that. Back up in Kansas, we've had a little bit higher of hailstones, near about ping pong ball sized hail, and that would be supportive of those higher lapse rates. The only tornado warning that we now have ongoing in Kansas, the other 3 just expired. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple of new tornado warnings in the next couple of minutes, but it is very busy, so obviously we're gonna have warnings popping up all over the place here. One just southeast of Fowler is the one that has a ongoing tornado warning, more of a damaging wind threat for sure, but again, if any of this can start to get organized in here near Fowler, this could become tornadic. So if you're anywhere near Minolia, that is the area that we're going to start to see some rotation kind of go overhead here over the next 5 to 10 minutes. So make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. And just a friendly reminder, there is a tornado watch ongoing for at least another 3 hours. We will obviously see another watch in central and eastern Oklahoma tonight. Obviously, that is going to be issued once this line of storms gets closer, but for right now, this is the watch box that we're watching right now. That tornado watch goes until 9 o'clock tonight. This is not a PDS tornado watch or anything like that, but widespread damaging winds are likely due to the fact that we're probably going to see a very pronounced line of storms produce the potential for a derecho tonight. I would not be surprised if this is classified as a derecho when everything's said and done. Again, we are not at the peak of severe weather either. The peak of severe weather is still to come. We are waiting for this line of storms to get into western Oklahoma. Once the line of storms gets closer to areas over near Altus and back through Woodward, these areas are going to see the worst threats. This is where we're going to start to see a very organized line of storms, most likely producing pretty significant damaging winds between 60 to even 100 miles per hour. This is where the primed environment is. We're still back over in the enhanced region of severe weather for tonight. This is the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for tonight. We are still a little bit behind from the moderate threat, but everything's going to plan right now in terms of severe weather. Everything's going as forecasted so far. So we are going to see the most significant severe weather once these storms get into Oklahoma. And again, the moderate threat of severe weather is quite large today. It actually goes all the way through southern sections even of Kansas and back into northeastern Oklahoma for today. So again, if you're anywhere in this area, make sure you have a way to receive alerts. Storms will be rolling through into Oklahoma within the next hour or so. The storms are expected to be in western Oklahoma right around 7 to 7:30. So that's the current timeline on these. They are moving around 60 miles per hour, as I mentioned before. We do have a couple of storms out in front of that line of storms, so that's also going to be a threat for this. We could see a couple of discrete cells out in front of that line of storms that could also produce the threat for all modes of severe weather, including a slightly higher tornado threat with these little discrete cells that we're starting to see pop up out in front of the line. But they are not moving as fast as the line of storms, which means they will be caught up to at some point by that line back out to the west. So that's what we're watching for right now. Again, we'll be keeping a very close eye on all these storms very closely. Let me just real quickly go over to Twitter and see if we have any other updates there. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon and as well as evening so far. Again, it'll be a very busy evening. I do not know how long I'll be live for, by the way. I'll try to be live as long as possible, but I do have homework that I still have not completed. So I have to get that done by like 12 o'clock tonight. So see if we can get that done beforehand. But other than that, I should be live at least for the next, I don't know. We'll see. Just depends on how things go. Let's see. Just a little update, by the way, there are now wind advisories in effect for almost all of North Texas and even back through Arkansas. I wish I could pull those up on here. There is a massive area for watches and warnings. I do want to pull this up real quick. This is insane. Look at this. This is actually crazy. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. So this is the watches and warnings across the United States. These are all wind advisories. Holy cow. I've never seen a wind advisory box this big before. This goes from Texas all the way back through West Virginia, and also these are high wind warnings. So it actually extends from basically New Mexico and Colorado all the way back through the Ohio Valley. Holy cow, that's actually insane. There are also winter storm warnings in effect for Wisconsin for tomorrow, by the way. All right, we do have a new tornado warning. Let's go ahead and get to that. New tornado warning is going to be back up closer to Garden City. Let's go ahead and go a little bit further up to the north. This is actually north and northeast of Dodge City. This tornado warning was issued for 10 minutes. So that's basically the time frame on this one. This is north of Spearville. Let's go right over to the velocities here. And this is our rotation. It is located currently right near 283. A little pocket of rotation. We'll dive over the correlation coefficient, see if anything's popping up there. Not seeing anything to find quite yet. Let's go over to here and see what's happening. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything to find in terms of debris at this point, but there is definitely some rotation there that is starting to strengthen. Again, this is embedded with a line of storms. This is definitely rotating though right now, just to the west of 283. At this current time, it has probably just crossed over 283 if there's a tornado. This will be moving towards areas north of Spearville, south of Hanston. So if you're in this area, make sure that you're seeking seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible in an interior room of your home or building. Again, that is near 283. That is where our ongoing tornado warning lies. And again, there's definitely some rotation there. We'll watch the next scan. It should come in here in just a moment, and we'll have an idea of what the rotation looks like in just a moment. But that is definitely some strong rotation. If there is to be a tornado, there would it'd probably be pretty brief and weak, but definitely something to watch for here. Latest radar scan is not nearly as strong, so that went really quick here. Let's actually go back on the radar here just for a second. I'm curious to see, because the tornado warning got issued literally about 2 minutes ago. This is the rotation at 6:01, and this is the most recent scan, so the rotation has fizzled out for the time being. We may have seen a brief tornado though in between radar scans. It's definitely possible with this sort of setup, with the line of storms that is definitely in the picture. We have a new tornado warning that has also just been issued right along 283. This is south of Nest City in Kansas, also southwest of Alexander. This storm is moving around 55 to 60 miles per hour off to the north and east. These are the last few radar scans just to give you an idea. 6 o'clock is right here. 6:05-ish now is right about here. Let's go over to the correlation coefficient. Again, no debris on the radar as of now, but we could see a tornado at any time. So if you're in this area, make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. New tornado warning has also just been issued back down near Dodge City. This one is going to include areas in Magnolia. This was actually, or excuse me, this one's already ongoing, but this is another tornado warning that we're watching. This has been ongoing for 15 minutes now. This one's moving off to the north and east. Rotation is sitting just right now to the southwest of Magnolia. I have not seen any development of this rotation since we last looked at it. Hasn't strengthened a whole lot. It's still pretty broad, but it will be something to watch as it moves off to the north and east. If you're near Highway 54, make sure that you're staying away from windows and lowest floor possible in southwestern Kansas. That's where we're at right now, near Magnolia. Let me just real quickly update the warning count here. We currently have 4 tornado warnings, and as well as 4 severe thunderstorm warnings, all of which for the most part are in Kansas. Exception would be the one back over in the Texas Panhandle. This is a look at this storm right now. Let's go back over to the live radar feed. So this is what it looks like back over in Texas. Panhandle is dealing with some pretty severe storms. All of these are producing damaging winds upwards of 70 to 75 miles per hour. Again, that tornado warning is ongoing. Very well could produce a tornado at any time. We do have a live cam, actually. Let me go ahead and hop over to that. But we do have a live cam out of Oklahoma. We'll be watching this kind of closely as this line does approach, but this is a look at that right now. I'll try to make it as large as possible here. That's the live cam right now out of Oklahoma, and this is like this is basically at the border. This is right along the interstate, the furthest western point of Oklahoma as we can basically get. See the dark and ominous skies in the background right now, and plenty of cars also traveling this direction. Not seeing any lightning yet. We're not that close to the storms at this current time, but there will be storms here within the next hour or so, so we'll be keeping a very close eye on that live cam. Again, that's right located here, so near Texola. That's exactly where it is, right along Interstate 40 east of Shamrock. And again, the storms are currently just to the west by about a good 20, 30, 40 miles, and they will be there in about half an hour to about an hour and 15 minutes. All right, let's go back over into Kansas. We're going to keep a close eye on both of these. We'll do a little bit of a zoomed out look on both of them. North of Dodge City is again where we're at. We're going to take a bit more of a zoomed out look since we have 2 in the same area. We'll be keeping a very close eye, though, on the one near 283 back up here west of Burdett. This one definitely has a bit more of a potential to produce a tornado than the one back down and closer to Spearville. That one has a little bit of weaker rotation right now. Next radar scan should be coming in here in about 30 to 45 seconds, so we'll take a look at that here in just a moment. Again, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below. We're 23 likes from 100. More likes that we get, the more people that are able to see severe weather coverage, so make sure to like the stream. Again, it's completely free to do. There have been wind gusts. I think the highest wind report that we've had so far was 75 miles per hour. I could be wrong, though. There might be some higher. The wind gusts could get upwards of 100 to 110 miles per hour. So there has been some insane dust storm stuff, by the way. This is back over in Lubbock. Let me pull this up for you. This is over in Lubbock, Texas. And this is a look at the dust storm over in Lubbock. This is behind the storms that we're seeing, and the wind gusts behind this front, or this dry line, are around 70 miles per hour. I'm not even kidding. Like, the severe weather, it's producing winds upwards of 70, 80, 90 miles per hour. But the cold, behind the dry line, the wind gusts are upwards of 70 miles per hour as well. So there's basically a dual threat here. One is with the actual storms, and the other one is with the basically behind this dry line. And also look at the wind gust reports back here. There's been plenty around Amarillo, closer to 60 to 65 miles per hour. I think our highest behind this front was actually 83 miles per hour over in eastern New Mexico behind the dry line. It is absolutely wild what we're seeing in terms of behind this entire system. Again, the wind gusts are super strong. This is a very impressive low pressure system. Definitely going to be one for the history books at the end of the day, because we are seeing already pretty historical stuff in terms of the wind gusts here back down in Texas and New Mexico. And then with the thunderstorms themselves, these are also producing pretty hefty severe weather threats. All right, let's go back up here for now, and we'll go back down to the south in a moment. I think we just got a new radar scan up here, so let's take a look at this. All right, so let's hop to this storm first. That's the one just to the north of Dodge City, northwest of Spearville. Little bit of rotation. It is still very broad at this point, very weak at really anything here, but that is currently embedded in that line of storms northwest of Spearville. The other one has a little bit more organization, closer to areas, again, just to the south of Nest City and west of Burdett. This one has a little bit more rotation, but again, not strong, tight, or confined, so we're not looking at a tornado on the ground at this given time, but one could again be on the ground at any time as this continues to march out to the north and northeast. So again, if you're near 283, make sure to get to your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible. There is still a little couplet there. You can actually see it on the radar. This is your little couplet that we have, a little bit of a U, pretty much, and then this is your inflow going to the storm. So there's an inflow. We're just not seeing a very tight and strong rotation here. This is not a region, by the way, that was supposed to see a very significant tornado threat. I can actually pull up the tornado threat for you. This is the look at today's tornado threat, and it's primarily actually south of where these tornado warnings are. It's primarily going to be back down in Oklahoma, so a little bit of a heads up there. We do have a brand new tornado warning that was just issued near McLean. Look at this nasty storm. So this one's over in Texas. Let's go over the velocities, and yeah, we definitely have some rotation brewing here. This is near McLean right now, south of Interstate 40. If you're currently included in this tornado warning, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. There are some violent winds in there right now over McLean. This is definitely a dangerous tornado warning that we're watching near McLean right now. So again, if you're in this area, make sure you get to your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible, and interior room of your home or building. That is a pretty strong rotation, it looks like, trying to develop here. That is, again, right near Interstate 40 in Texas. Again, this is McLean, Texas, eastern Panhandle. This storm will be approaching Oklahoma, primarily near the Texola area, within the next 45 minutes. So make sure you're getting to your safe place immediately. Definitely a dangerous storm that's starting to unfold here near McLean. All right, let me go and zoom back out again. We're gonna go back over to the reflectivity. We're gonna stay on this radar, and let's just stay on these storms for right now. The other two, we'll have another radar scan in a moment. But yeah, this is again a very dangerous storm developing right now near Interstate 40. Shamrock, Wheeler, McLean, as well as Twitty, Leela, Allen Reed, as well as Kellerville are the ones included again in this brand new tornado warning. Very dangerous supercell developing, likely producing not just that, but also some hail upwards of $quarter to $half size. There's definitely a hail threat with this storm, regardless of the tornado threat. But again, this is the look at that. This would be where your tornado would be located. It would be right in here. We have a pretty clean inflow as well going into the storm. So there's definitely some wind shear kicking into this storm. It very well could produce a tornado at any time. All right, let's go and zoom back out, and we'll stay. Yeah, we're just going to stay on this one until we have any other warnings here. Let me go over to Discord so I can get the warnings over the next few minutes. Thank you, Donna, by the way, for subscribing. Appreciate it. Zero visibility in Garden City when the dust storm hit. Yeah, it is a pretty wild dust storm that we're seeing, and there's a reason why there are high wind warnings in effect for those in the Panhandle. The winds have been absolutely vicious at this point. Let me go over to here and back over to here. All right, there we go. All right, next radar scan should come in here in just a moment. Over here, and we'll put on the velocities for now. We'll stay on the velocities. Again, this is the storm near McLean. If you're in McLean, Texas, make sure to seek shelter immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. And current time, by the way, 6:14, just for an FYI. All right. This is the latest radar scan, by the way. So again, we do have a little bit of rotation here near McLean. Again, if you are in McLean, make sure you get to your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible. Regardless of a tornado, we are likely going to be seeing damaging winds upwards of 70 miles per hour. So again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, And yeah, again, that's our latest tornado warning, this one. And we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. Let's see. Oh, never mind. All right, just an update. All right, got all the warnings now updated on my other screen here, so we can kind of make sure if there's any new tornado warnings, I'll have a pretty good awareness to announce, since I don't have to zoom out or anything like that. Will 110 mile per hour winds blow out a window? It's definitely possible. I mean, 110 miles per hour is essentially hurricane force winds. That's pretty close to category 2 force winds that we're talking about. Or 110 is right at category 2 level. So yeah, it definitely is. It's actually pretty close to category 3 too. I mean, that's basically where we're at, is right there at a category 2 level of hurricane force winds. Those can knock out windows, especially when they're straight line going right towards you. If we have west to east winds and your house is facing towards the west and you have a window, it can definitely get blown out from damaging winds that high. I mean, downburst winds 110 miles per hour are very, very strong. And whenever you see a hurricane like a category 2 or whatever make landfall, or category 3, you sometimes see some pretty substantial damage right along the coastline without storm surge even being in that picture. Even damaging winds can produce that. So we can definitely see some pretty significant damage from winds upwards of 110 miles per hour. All right, we have a new radar scan here for those in McLean. Let's go and hop over to the storm relative velocities again. And we're going to go back over to McLean. This storm is still rotating here, and it is starting to strengthen a bit. We're going to go over to the correlation coefficient, but right over McLean is where we have some pretty strong rotation. Not seeing anything too defined yet. There may be a little bit of a correlation coefficient drop. Let's go back over to the reflectivity. There could be a tornado on the ground here. That is again over McLean right now. We are far away from the radar site, by the way, so it is a little bit difficult to see this one, but there may be a tornado on the ground right now near McLean. So if you're in this area, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. A little update, by the way, this warning to the north has been updated. The tornado warning up here near Wheeler, this one was just updated to golf ball sized hail. So the hail threat is increasing on that one, but there could potentially be a tornado on the ground here. Let's go and investigate this a little bit further. So again, correlation coefficient is showing potentially a little drop. If that is not a drop, that is at least showing some hail, which there is a hail core there. So keep that in mind. But there may be a tornado on the ground. It's hard to tell right now near McLean, but at least at the bare minimum, there is some pretty large hail falling, because that is popping up on our correlation coefficient. Again, this is right along Interstate 40, moving off to the east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So yeah, if you're included in this warning, make sure that you are staying away from windows and lowest floor possible. All right. Thank you, Seth, as well as Vicky, for subscribing, by the way. Appreciate it. How's it going, Tim? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, by the way. I'm going to be really focused on what's happening on the radar, so not too interactive right now, but I'll try to. By the way, all tornado warnings in Kansas have expired at this point. We are only on tornado warnings in Texas. Just a little heads up there. All right, latest radar scan. Rotation has basically dissipated for the time being near McLean. Go back over to the reflectivity values. Look at this storm. Man, it is nasty. This is a very nasty supercell here. This is definitely producing hail at the bare minimum. If we go over to the correlation coefficient, you can actually see here, the correlation coefficient is actually picking up on the hail. That is pretty impressive. Near Interstate 40 here. That is, again, just to the east now, McLean. It is picking up on the pretty large hail that we're seeing. This is a very nasty supercell, though, and it is discrete, by the way. These cells that get out in front of the line of storms are going to have the best potential for a tornado threat. So we have to watch these very, very closely as these continue to move off to the east and east-northeast, and any that develop again out in front of that line are likely going to become pretty dangerous. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Also, we do have a storm chaser tonight for photos and videos, so I'll keep you posted if we get anything out of there. I believe he's chasing closer to Memphis, Texas. We actually had a pretty cool photo from the dry line. I'll go and show you here in a second. But yeah, we do have a chaser just sending in a few photos and videos tonight. This is a photo that he sent in a little earlier, about an hour or two ago. This is the dry line, and it can be a little bit blurry, but this is the dry line out of I believe it was Memphis, Texas. And again, that is a pretty impressive area here. This is just behind the dry line. So see all the clouds starting to bubble up. That was earlier today, though, but still cool to see out there. A little update, by the way, here out of Oklahoma. We are watching the storm that I'm watching right now. This is what it looks like from Oklahoma right now. So you can see the very ominous skies back out to the west. Be interesting to see if we see any lightning this far out to the east. Again, this is near Texola. You can actually see there was a flash of lightning there at the top of your screen. But yeah, there is a little bit of lightning out there. We're starting to see a few flashes of lightning starting to approach now just to the west, again, of Texola, Oklahoma. And this will again be approaching that area. This is where we're right now located. That's where the storm is. This is where that live cam is. It's facing directly west. So that's storm you can actually see from a distance, and there is wind gusts around 30 to 40 miles per hour even out towards areas near Texola right along Interstate 40. So that's what we're watching for right now there. Again, no new tornado warnings in Kansas for the time being. The tornado threat, if there is any, which there is obviously a low to medium tornado threat tonight, it's going to primarily be focused here in the Panhandle of Texas, back through Oklahoma. There's a low threat back over into Kansas, but there were a few tornado warnings earlier there in Kansas. There is a tornado possible label, by the way, on a few of those storms back up in Kansas, just for an FYI. All right, let's go ahead and just stay on this storm for now. And this is the latest radar scan. Again, this is a discrete supercell, very defined inflow out in front of it. We're not seeing a whole lot of organization on a couplet of rotation at this point. Let's go over to the velocities. I am not seeing anything defined on where there will be rotation. This is actually our scan from a few minutes ago. We should get a new one here in a moment, but there is nothing defined here in terms of a area of rotation because there isn't anything really allowing this inflow to go into the thunderstorm. So we're not really seeing any sort of defined rotation right now. But the bigger issue with this storm is going to be the massive hail. We're going to probably be seeing upwards of around golf ball sized hail with this storm. It is a very nasty supercell just out to the north of Interstate 40. If you're in Wheeler, heads up, you're going to have a pretty nasty hailstorm coming your way. If you have not already, bring your car into your garage because this storm will be probably worse than the one that you just saw, which was just probably a lot of thunder and lightning, maybe a little bit pea-sized hail, and maybe some wind gusts upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. This one is going to pack it all. With obviously some damaging winds upwards of 70, and as well as the threat for some golf ball sized hail is not out of the question with this storm as it continues to march out to the north and northeast. All right, let's go back over here. Kansas City will see some storms later tonight. It'll be probably closer to midnight or so when you see some storms there. Thanks, Home. I appreciate it. Sulphur Springs will just see some wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour tonight. I wouldn't expect severe weather there. Yeah, for anybody in Kansas or Oklahoma, you're pretty much at risk of severe weather tonight. Again, this is our region for tonight in terms of severe weather. This is, well, that's the tornado threat. Once we go over to the general threat, this is our area. It's pretty much almost all of Kansas, all of Oklahoma. The only exception is like the furthest southeastern point of Oklahoma, along with parts of North Texas and the Texas Panhandle and back even through Missouri. Those areas are all included in a severe weather threat tonight. So if you're anywhere in these shaded areas, you have a chance of severe weather tonight. Regardless of where you are in the green, yellow, orange, or red, you have a chance. And the main threat, again, will be damaging winds. The tornado threat isn't high. It's really kind of in the low to medium sector right now, even though we do have a couple of tornado warnings out there, because these storms are not going to become very organized. We did not have a whole lot of instability develop today. There wasn't a whole lot of daylight heating. So the overall tornado threat should be a bit lower. We're really watching for a much higher damaging wind threat once this line of storms becomes more organized. It has not really gotten to its magnitude of where it could be. It will be in about an hour once these storms get into Oklahoma. That is when we'll see the highest damaging wind threat really start to take place. We are still about an hour or two out from this line of storms being organized, along with producing some very significant damaging winds upwards of 80 to 100 miles per hour. Again, I said 100. That is not a typo in my voice. That is obviously something that's going to happen. That is possible, at least, upwards of 100 mile per hour damaging winds. So it is a very dangerous storm system that we'll be watching unfold. And again, this is the live radar. Let me zoom out real quick just to give you an idea of what's happening. So this is the live radar in terms of these storms right now over the last 30 minutes. And this is a look at the little bit of a future, or excuse me, the past cast over the last about hour or so. So that's what we're watching for here. Actually, let me just put this down to about an hour. There we go. So yeah, this is the past hour with these storms. There have been a bunch of tornado warnings up in Kansas, believe it or not, over the last hour. Now, the main ones that we're watching are going to be back down here in the Texas Panhandle that are going to be entering into Oklahoma up here pretty shortly as well. So, by the way, new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued into Western Kansas. This is going to be north of Interstate 40, pretty rural area here, but this is going to be back over near Arnett and Crawford. 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds will be possible there. The main storm that we've been watching is this one that is discrete out in front of the line of storms. And what I mean by discrete is pretty much it's by itself. This supercell is not connected to a line of storms like this back out here to the west. So this is entirely discrete right now. It will not be discrete for much longer than probably half an hour due to the fact this line of storms is much faster than this discrete cell. But let's go over to the velocities real quick. I'm going to see if there's any rotation left on this one. It is more of a hail threat for right now, along with damaging winds. Actually, the velocities have glitched out entirely. Wait, real quick. Yeah, that's not right, by the way. That's not 143 mile per hour winds, but there is obviously a little bit of rotation here since there is a tornado warning, but the rotation has weakened in the last few scans. We do have a clean inflow on the southern side of the supercell, along with the threat for, again, upwards of $1/4 to $1/2 size tail located, again, north of Interstate 40 right now, moving off to the northeast. If you're in Wheeler, again, make sure you get away from windows again, because this storm will be there within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Hey, thank you, Tim S., for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Thanks for tuning in. 110 miles per hour is also possible. Just for the record, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a, definitely gonna happen. It's definitely a low chance. Braking, by the way, braking situation. We are now up to 80 mile per hour damaging winds for those in Childress, along with areas in the eastern Texas Panhandle. Yes, 80 miles per hour now. That is the destructive level of damaging winds right now, up and down this line of storms from anywhere from Childress, Texas, which is going to be in the line of this area soon, as well as back through areas along and near Interstate 40 in the eastern Texas Panhandle. So definitely something that you will not want to be near windows for. 80 mile per hour damaging winds can be very, very destructive. Again, approaching Childress, Texas is where we'll be watching for this line of storms here in just a moment. Again, 80 mile per hour damaging winds. That is up and down this entire line of storms from about the area Pampa near let's see what this is, 152, that's the road, back all the way through areas just south of Childress, back close to 62. That's the range that we're looking at here for the 80 mile per hour damaging wind threat right now. Let's actually go over the velocities. I'm curious to see what we got here. Pretty sure the velocities radar glitched out in the latest scan. Let me see if I go back here a scan. Yeah, this is the more recent scan. So again, yeah, there's definitely right along that line of storms. This is where that damaging wind area is located. That's going to be from Turkey back through Headley. Those are the areas that we're watching right now for some very significant damaging winds. Again, this is the storm that had rotation. Rotation may be recycling with this discrete supercell, but it is hard to tell. This is the most recent scan. So yeah, again, it is struggling to recycle this supercell storm that we had out in front of the line. That was tornado warned. Rotation has definitely weakened in the last few minutes near Wheeler, but there is still a hail threat upwards of potentially back maybe closer to ping pong ball sized hail again southwest of Wheeler. The hail core has developed just a little bit again. We do actually now have a confirmation of golf ball sized hail. This was not a warned storm for golf ball sized hail, by the way. I mentioned it, but that is now golf ball sized hail was confirmed near McLean as of 6:20 by Storm Chaser in the area. So this storm has officially produced golf ball sized hail. And with that being said, this storm is likely back to golf ball sized hail again, approaching Wheeler, Texas. So if you're in that area, again, make sure you get away from windows. Hail core is again increasing in size as it approaches areas near Wheeler, Texas. And no tornado warnings again right now in Kansas. 67 mile per hour wind gusts was reported out of Gray County. 78 miles per hour was reported recently out of Haines County, or out of Haines, excuse me, in Seward County. Back through areas in Haskell County, Kansas, 81 mile per hour wind gust was confirmed there. I believe so far our highest confirmed wind gusts with the thunderstorms has been 81 miles per hour. 85 miles per hour, I believe, back over in New Mexico was the highest wind gust behind the dry line. So I'm pretty sure that's where we're at right now in terms of this system. All right, we're gonna stay on this storm here for the brief time being near Wheeler. How's it going, Brady? Welcome back. What will tomorrow look like? Make sure to check out my latest forecast. I had a whole forecast on that today. Has all the details. DFW is not safe from hail or tornadoes or anything like that. It's a low chance. It's like very low at this point for those in DFW, but it's not zero. So have a way to receive alerts tonight if you're anywhere in North Texas. Especially the further north and west you go from DFW, the higher chance you'll have of some severe weather. Wow, this is incredible. Look at this sunset out of Nocona, Texas. Sorry, it is a little bit blurry. For some reason, every photo that goes through Facebook Messenger, it comes out blurry. I don't know why, but that is what we're looking at here. There's a nice sunset out of Nocona, Texas. That is back over in North Texas, by the way. I have a lot of North Texas viewers. So if you are a North Texas viewer and you're here, say hi. A lot of those people. All right, real quick, I am going to post this over to Facebook, actually. Tennessee, Texas. Nice. Again, this is the cell that we're watching near Wheeler. It is producing the threat right now for damaging winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour, along with the threat for maybe a brief or weak tornado near Wheeler and Shamrock. Again, this is producing also the threat for up to golf ball sized hail. This storm is, again, not really rotating as much as previously, but there's still a little bit of rotation there just to the north of Interstate 40. Let me go back over to the storm relative velocities. And yeah, again, we're not seeing a whole lot of rotation anymore with this storm. Doesn't mean there won't be a tornado in the near future, but there could be, again, a tornado at some point down the road as that continues to move off to the north and east. The line of storms, again, does extend right now from about Interstate 40 back through Memphis. So that's what we're looking at right now in terms of this line of storms. Producing damaging winds, again, upwards of 80 miles per hour. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's see if we have any other updates on Twitter here. Ray Timmer's on a pretty massive supercell too right now. Yeah, Ray Timmer's on a massive supercell right now. We're currently in eastern Texas Panhandle. That's where we're at right now. Golf ball sized hail is currently ongoing near Interstate 40. So that's where we're at right now in terms of the severe weather. Yeah, we have a cluster of storms that is ongoing as well back up in Kansas. This is primarily for damaging winds between 60 to 70 miles per hour. And this will continue to move off to the north and east here, but it's not producing much of any tornado threat. The tornado threat should go down with this area back up here closer to areas in Kansas over the next really few hours. It's going to be primarily damaging winds. Tornado threat, though, should be pretty low up that direction. Tornado watch, again, only extends into areas like Pratt and back through really far southern sections of Kansas. So the main threat for severe weather will primarily be back through Texas and as well as Oklahoma. And the tornado threat in Texas is really going to be starting to wind down in about an hour or two once this line of storms goes into Oklahoma. Also, a new tornado warning was just issued for those in Raiden, as well as near 283 and 33. This is a brand new tornado warning. Make sure you seek shelter immediately away from windows and lowest floor possible. If you're in Raiden, Crawford, Roll, Durham, as well as Angora, those areas are included in a brand new tornado warning moving off to the north and east. I don't think we have any radar sight that's really good with this one. I'm going to see if we have anything on the velocities, but it is definitely an area that we're going to have a bit of a hard time seeing that's going to be a hard time seeing the radar from here, but there is a little bit of rotation most likely located with this cell just right now to the west of Raiden. That's my best guess here, just to the west of Raiden near 33 and 47. So again, make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. And that is a new tornado warning that was just issued in Oklahoma. First one of the day, by the way, for Oklahoma. The highest winds behind this frontal boundary will be in the Texas Panhandle, just for an FYI. So for those that are wondering, we've seen wind gusts upwards already of 85 miles per hour behind the dry line. So for those behind the dry line, which is going to be basically anything behind these storms right now, wind gusts could still be upwards of 80 to 85 miles per hour. So just a little heads up there. Obviously, some very high wind gusts for sure back out there. Amarillo has already been upwards of 80 miles per hour behind the front again. So anything out in front of the front or even in these storms, though, wind gusts again could be upwards of 100 miles per hour. Just gives you an idea of the magnitude of this severe weather that we'll be watching here tonight. And by the way, that new tornado warning is for Ellis and Roger Mills County in Oklahoma. Ping pong ball sized hail is also possible with that supercell. How's it going, Riley? All right, let's go back over to the velocities. I'm going to go back onto the storm back over here closer to Shamrock again. I do not think this storm has much rotation left with it. This was the discrete supercell that we've been watching. Not nearly as defined, though, in terms of rotation. That is south of Wheeler. That area near 83, the rotation has definitely weakened pretty quickly. So good news there with that storm. It is still producing damaging winds around 80 miles per hour, most likely, but I don't see anything left that would indicate that there's any strong rotation here near Shamrock. So some good news there. Again, McLean is currently getting hit by that line of storms back near Memphis, Texas, actually where one of the the person that I know on Facebook that was storm chasing the storm, they might be on the storm right now. There's some nasty hail right now near Lakeview and Memphis. So if you're in this area, again, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows, even though there's no tornado warning. There's definitely gonna be some massive hail, and again, damaging winds could be upwards of 80 miles per hour as this line of storms moves into Oklahoma over the next several minutes. All right, let's go back to Shamrock. There we go. How's it going, Pony? Thanks, Riley. This could turn into a derecho. Honestly, this probably will turn into some sort of derecho over the next few hours. I'm pretty sure the Storm Prediction Center was forecasting that this would become a derecho. But personally, I would expect this is a derecho tonight. It isn't really yet at that category, but once this line enters into Oklahoma, that is when things will become much more organized. And I would expect the derecho to really form right in here. And it'll likely go all the way through Oklahoma. So there's a pretty high likelihood that this will become a derecho, which basically means widespread damaging winds over a 250-mile span here, and there's definitely gonna be that chance with this line of storms once it enters into a more primed environment for damaging winds. That would start really in western Oklahoma. By the way, we actually have a confirmed tornado in Liberal, and that's in far southern and southwestern Kansas. That was confirmed by law enforcement a couple hours ago. I did not see that until just now. So actually, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning back up in Superior in Nebraska. Just going to real quickly touch on this. There is a little area of storms here near Burr Oak that is moving off to the northeast. There is a little area, though, that is going to be producing potentially a little bit of severe weather. So just make sure you're aware of that. That's our first severe thunderstorm warning of the day in Kansas. Or excuse me, not Kansas, in Nebraska. Little heads up there. Let's go back over to the storm relative velocities again. Again, this is where our rotation's located near Wheeler. This is why we have a tornado warning in the eastern Texas Panhandle. Again, I'm not seeing anything too defined at this time, but the velocities are also glitching out on our radar here. Let's go back a couple of scans. Let me go back to the storm relative velocity. Again, that is our area of rotation. There is a little bit of rotation here. Again, that is south of Wheeler, but it is not overly defined right now. It has a little bit of an inflow going into the storm near Wheeler and north of Shamrock, but I'm not, again, seeing anything that defined here. So just a little heads up there. Again, make sure you're staying away from windows if you're anywhere north of Interstate 40. That is where the main storm is in terms of the tornado threat. Damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour will be possible going into Shamrock. So even if you're in Shamrock, get into your safe place as well, because there's a threat for damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour, because again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning issued for that threat right now. Again, damaging winds also up to 80 miles per hour possible back through Childress. So that's another area to watch for closely as well. We have a live cam again back over in Oklahoma. This is the most recent view of this. This is near Texola. Let me go and show you the live cam right now. Skies are getting pretty dark out here. This is the storm back over in Oklahoma right now. So, or just to the west right now of Oklahoma. This is right now right along Interstate 40. See the flashes of lightning a little bit more at the top right of your screen as well. We have a couple more up that direction. That's with that discrete supercell that we're just talking about. Back out here directly to the west on Interstate 40. I am not seeing any sort of lightning quite yet with that line of storms. And again, the line is a bit further away from that discrete cell. So the flashes of lightning back up here to the northwest. This is again facing to the west right here. This is northwest. We are seeing much more defined areas of flashes of thunder and lightning. That would again be from this storm right here looking off to the northwest. It's much closer than the line of storms. It's way back out here right now near McLean. So that's what we're looking at right now. But the discrete supercell, again, has that threat for a tornado. Much lower tornado threat right now at the line of storms here that is currently west of the Oklahoma and Texas border. All right, no other tornado warnings right now back up to the north, which is good news there. There's another tornado warning. I think it might have got duplicated, but there's right now only one tornado warning, by the way, on this storm here near Raiden. Just a heads up there. There's only one there. Oh, actually, no, there's a new one. We have another tornado warning that was just issued. It's likely going to be for that discrete cell back out here to the west. But there's a new tornado warning that was just issued for areas in Hammond, Sweetwater, and Strong City, along with Angora and Dempsey. That is a brand new tornado warning. Make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building is recommended. Again, this is going to be heading off to the north and east. A brand new tornado warning, again, was issued for those in western Oklahoma. And this is associated with the storm that is still in Texas. Oops, that is still in Texas. But this is going to be moving off to the northeast towards areas near 33, Raiden, as well as Hammond. Those areas will be in the track of that storm that is, again, moving pretty quickly. It's moving about 40 to 50 miles per hour off to the north and east. The line of storms back out here to the west is moving around 60 miles per hour off to the east. So just to kind of put in perspective, this discrete supercell is starting to be caught up by this line of storms. So the discrete cell should start to weaken a bit in the next probably 30 minutes or so. But again, over the next probably about 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to see the storm probably still stay at the same magnitude and intensity as it is right now. That's what we're looking at there. Again, 3 tornado warnings now ongoing, all pretty much in the same area. Again, 1 in Wheeler right now. Add that to the warning count. How's it going, Pro Magic? How many severe thunderstorms so far today? There's been a bunch. I'm not sure the exact count, but I'm pretty sure we're at least at 15, maybe 20 total severe thunderstorm warnings. I could be wrong, though. DFW could see damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. That's the main threat. Thanks, Pony. Appreciate it. This is not going towards Arizona. This is going east. We actually have a tornado possible label, by the way, real quick. Back up in Kansas, we actually have a tornado possible label on the storm back up here near Kinsley, as well as Greenock. Let's go over to the velocities again real quick. Let's go over to the storm relative velocities. Not seeing anything too defined here. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Not seeing anything too crazy here. There is a tornado possible label on this severe thunderstorm warning. Not seeing any tight rotation, though, back up in Kansas right now. The rotation will be much weaker back up this direction. The low-level jet is weaker in Kansas tonight. And along with that, the dew points are also lower. Buoyancy is going to be lower, and the storms are going to be much more widespread up here, which will create a lower tornado potential. So not seeing anything that defined, though, right now back up in Kansas, which is good news. The main severe weather action is currently located areas near Shamrock and Wheeler. That is where we have the main tornado warning. Severe weather, in terms of significant severe weather, up to 80 miles per hour, is up and down areas from southwest of Childress all the way back here through the northeastern parts of the Texas Panhandle. This line of storms does extend all the way into Kansas, but the most significant severe weather is definitely being seen right now in areas in western Oklahoma as well as into the Panhandle of Texas. So that's the main area that we're watching for right now. Will I be live on Thursday? I have zero clue. That's still a few days out. See what happens over the next few days. I will have a forecast every day, I think, this week, by the way. So stay tuned. Should have a forecast every day. If you're in eastern Oklahoma or east of Oklahoma, you're probably going to have a much lower chance of significant severe weather tonight. Mainly due to the fact this line of storms will not have much instability to work with, which will lead to the threat of severe weather being much lower overall, which is good news for those that direction. But obviously, for most of Oklahoma, we will be watching for some potential for significant severe weather here. Real quickly, quick Twitter update. I'm not sure if we have anything else on these storms right now. It doesn't look like we do, though, for right now. Again, the main tornado warnings are right now located near Shamrock and as well as near Wheeler. That is where we have the main storms back behind. This is our line of storms here. And again, this is our discrete cell that is starting to lose, it looks like, some of its organization. But again, we are quite far away from the radar site, so it makes it difficult to see it. But I am not seeing anything that is defined in terms of rotation here. But if you are in western Oklahoma, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible in these 2 tornado warnings. That does include Hamon, Raiden, Sweetwater, Strong City, Roll, and Gore, and Dempsey. Those are the areas included right now in the couple of tornado warnings back over here in western Oklahoma for right now. So that's the main area that we're watching right now for tornado warnings. But again, the line of storms is going to become much more organized within the next hour or two once it enters into western Oklahoma. And it will probably, again, become a derecho type event. So that's what we're going to be watching for very closely. No recent damaging wind reports. The most recent that we had was actually over in Lake McClellan. There was a 61 mile per hour damaging wind gust report there. That's actually near interstate, or yeah, it's right now, it's just to the north of interstate 40. So we have not had any other wind or damaging wind reports at this point. I'm not sure if we have any airports in the area, which would be a helpful indication if we had any wind gust reports here. And no pretty high ones at this point. Look at Lubbock. As of 6:34, the wind gusts in Lubbock right now are at 71 miles per hour. That's insane. Again, behind the dry line, the wind gusts have actually been really worse so far than this line of storms. There have been wind gusts widespread in this area of Texas, Amarillo and Lubbock, upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Holy cow, that's insane. They've been pretty crazy out this direction. 77 recently over in Washburn as well. That's just east of Amarillo. So we've had some crazy wind gusts, again, behind this dry line. And that's anything, again, just here to the west. So Amarillo will be included in that. Pretty wild stuff for sure. Again, near Shamrock is where we're watching for a little area of rotation. The area of rotation right now would be just associated with that discrete cell back up to the north of Interstate 40. So that's the main area that we're watching right now for any sort of tornado development. Haven't had anything recently, though, which is good news. Welcome back, Aiden. St. Louis will see severe weather potentially tomorrow morning, but it is a low threat. It's not too high. The threat is going to be primarily tomorrow morning. Damaging winds up to 60 will be possible. Denison, Texas, damaging winds up to 60. And Fort Worth, same threat. The threats out that direction are going to be much lower overall. Also, the tornado warning here just got condensed. McLean is no longer included. If you're in McLean, Texas, it is no longer including McLean. Right now, we have 3 tornado warnings again in western Oklahoma, 2 of them in western Oklahoma, 1 in Texas. We currently have a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 severe thunderstorm warnings. And really, the main area of severe weather is associated with the line of storms that is developing just to the west of Childress. So that's what we're watching for right now. It'll be humid. The humidity is insane. If you look at the let's go to the dew points real quick. We have a second. Let's go to the dew points. This is the dew points here. The humidity out of the system is quite remarkable. This is the dry line, by the way. It is further to the east now, but this is a little bit delayed. This is insane how much dry air is coming from behind this this dry line here. It's quite remarkable. Behind the low pressure system, here's your severe storms moving off to the east and northeast, and then here's your humid air all really ushering out of the Gulf of Mexico. And dew points are pretty impressive. I mean, we're talking dew points even in DFW upwards of the mid to upper 60s right now. It's right around 65 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Back up here in Oklahoma, even though we're seeing some really significant severe weather, dew points are right now around 55. There's not a whole lot of buoyancy here, but the thing is the dew points are going to continue to rise over the next few hours, and it's going to cause, obviously, a much more significant severe weather threat in southwestern and western Oklahoma. And this will definitely be the area to watch for some pretty significant severe weather in terms of damaging winds, especially. Once we get more buoyancy in the atmosphere, that is going to create a much higher damaging wind threat here. So dew points are still not at the highest that they will be. That's why this line of storms is still not at its maximum magnitude. It's going to be really, really much worse once this gets into Oklahoma, which is still a good probably 30 to 45 minutes from now. But we are starting to see the first initial cells that were out in front of that line of storms now entering into western parts of Oklahoma. So that's what we're seeing out there right now. Central Indiana, main threat will be damaging winds. It's going to be right around late tomorrow morning. I might go live briefly if there's anything that needs to go live for between like 11 to 1, but I probably won't. You too, Magic. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm in the danger area in Oklahoma. Yeah, it's going to be a rough night in Oklahoma, to say the least. Unfortunately, I can't be live for all of it, but I'll be live probably at least for the next... I'm going to try to at least be live until 7:30, maybe. I'm going to see if I can go live a little bit longer, but I have still several homework assignments due, so I have to get those done. But if I have time after that, I'll go live once these storms get closer to like Lawton and Oklahoma City. The main area that I'm really more concerned about tonight is back over, I mean, anywhere in this area is pretty concerning, but really when it comes to population and whatnot, we have a really high population in Oklahoma City, Stillwater, as well as back through areas even as far north as Blackwell. These areas could see some really significant damaging winds tonight. We are still a few hours out from that. Let me actually check the timing real quick. Anywhere along Interstate 35 in Oklahoma will not see storms probably at least until 9 o'clock. From the latest future radar that I've watched. Let me see if it changed at all. Yeah, it's gonna be right around 9 to 10 o'clock tonight. So I might take a brief break at some point here pretty soon and then go back live once this gets closer to there if I can. But yeah, the more significant severe weather again will be over the next 2 to maybe 2.5 hours. And then once this gets to Oklahoma City around 10, we'll be talking about a pretty significant damaging wind threat upwards of like 70 to 80 miles per hour. Could even get as high as 90 miles per hour over that direction as well. Damaging winds even upwards of 100 miles per hour are not out of the question with this line of storms as it continues to move off to the east as well as the east-northeast. But we'll put the radar into motion here for right now. This is, again, the last 30 minutes or so here in North Texas. Reed Timmer has a tornado on the ground? Really? Let me check it out. Pull it up on my other monitor here. His GPS is out. Oh, he actually did have a tornado on the ground. Looks like it was. Yeah, that looks like a tornado. Shamrock, Texas. We at least have some sort of confirmation. It looks like a tornado from Reed Timmer. Wow. Looks like that's a tornado. That looks like dust was kicking up there. So yeah. That's wild. Man, it's crazy. I mean, like when you look out there where he is, it is pitch black. If anybody was watching it, it is literally pitch black out there in the Texas Panhandle. This is what it looks like right now from Oklahoma, by the way, from western Oklahoma, right near the border of Texas and Oklahoma. This is what it looks like. Look off to the west here. That's where the storms are. It's pretty much pitch black now out there. And that's not from the storms themselves. It's more from, obviously, the sun is set now in this area of Texas. But yeah, there was a tornado, it looks like, that was on the ground for sure. Out of that storm, it looked to be more of a smaller type tornado, but again, I only saw a little snippet of it. Look at that flash of lightning. It is pretty wild, though. But yeah. That is what we're seeing there. New tornado warning was just issued for Collingsworth County, Texas. That is going to include Wellington. We'll get to that here in just a second. Thank you, Rob, for the $50 donation. Holy cow. Let me check out. I don't have that pulled up. Let me look at that real quick. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much for the $50 donation. Thanks for all of your hard work. I appreciate that a lot, Rob. Thank you very much. Let's get some claps in the chat for Rob. Wow, that's very generous. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. Yeah, Reed Timmer's stream went out, or it looks like it. It's like a GPS something. I just read it briefly, but yeah, there was a tornado with that storm. Let me real quickly go over to the live radar. We do have a brand new tornado warning. It is just to the south of where that tornado was actually on the ground. It looked like about 5 to 10 minutes ago near Shamrock. The one near Wellington is our brand new tornado warning. If you're in this area, make sure that you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. This is a look currently near Wellington. The rotation's likely to be located right about there. So if you're in this area, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. That is, again, a brand new tornado warning south of Interstate 40 near Shamrock. We are going to be putting the live cam on when this area of storms rolls through Texola, excuse me. We'll be going directly to that live cam. We'll be on that for a few minutes while that area of storms rolls through. It'll probably get pretty active there in a moment. So we'll have that live cam pulled up directly here in just a moment. All right. Go over to here. Let me go back over to Twitter real quick, see if we have any other updates there. By the way, this is not the only severe weather that we'll see. We'll see severe weather, obviously, tomorrow. If you have not already watched my latest forecast, check that out. We'll also have severe weather on Thursday and Friday of this upcoming week, pretty much guaranteed. So I might go live for one of those 2 days. I'll try to go live for both if I can. The other thing is there's a winter storm coming tomorrow in the Midwest. So if you've not already noticed that, I've posted a few forecasts on that. Make sure to check that out. It's at the tail end of most of my most recent forecasts. There is a winter storm, though, that'll come out of this, and it'll bring the threat for ice in the Midwest as well as heavy snow. And the Northeast could see upwards of 12 inches of snow. So it's a pretty wild event that we're going to be seeing. It's not just severe weather here. We'll have the threat, additionally, of some winter weather events as well in terms of snow and ice. So not nearly as bad as the last ice storm, but next SBC update, the next Storm Prediction Center update will be in approximately 7 minutes. Hey, Virginia, how's it going? Welcome back. Are you prepared in North Texas for some damaging winds up to 60? Yeah, the Storm Prediction Center updates during this time of the year for 2 more weeks. The day one 0 onesie, I think update it's called, those updates go until, or they happen at 7 o'clock Central. They happen at 8 o'clock Central 2 weeks from now, because the leap or whatever, the spring ahead, happens in 2 weeks. So we now have an observed 90-mile-per-hour damaging wind event. Holy cow. Let me pause this real quick. This is a breaking situation. 90-mile-per-hour damaging winds will be possible in western Oklahoma. That is absolutely insane. So western Oklahoma, Elk City, damaging winds up to 90 miles per hour have now been observed. Along with that, the hail threat is up to golf ball sized hail. So that is a very significant upgrade here in terms of the severe weather threat. Holy cow. Yeah, post this real quick on Facebook. Again, this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for 90-mile-per-hour damaging winds. I can post this. The file corrupt. All right, let me try this again. I might just have to take a photo of it with this. Again, 90-mile-per-hour damaging winds for western Oklahoma. This is the area that was in the most significant threat for severe weather. Sorry, I'm doing this on my screen. It looks really weird. All right, let me save this now. Yeah, just do this. Go. All right, done posting that. Wow, that's insane. 90-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Along with that, there are a bunch of tornado warnings. Pretty crazy stuff. Storm motion, 94 miles per hour. Is that right? I don't even know if that's... I can't confirm it because I cannot do it manually here, but if it's 94 miles per hour, that is insane. I don't know if that's a typo or not, but 94 miles per hour seems really high for a wind or a storm motion, especially in this sort of case here. I'm currently watching a weather station on Wonderground getting wind gusts around 70 miles per hour. Yeah, this storm apparently has had confirmation of 90-mile-per-hour damaging winds, which is absolutely insane. I mean, again, this is something that was in the, you know, the picture here today. We're definitely going to see a threat of this upwards of trying to fix this again, but upwards of, you know, 100 miles per hour. This is well up there for sure. That is absolutely remarkable. My radar's glitched out. Let me just refresh it. Additionally, by the way, we do have 3 tornado warnings ongoing. Again, Reed Timmer did confirm it seemed like a tornado backup near Interstate 40. His GPS went out, so I'm not sure if he has any connection anymore. I'm not sure. Do you guys know if he's still on that storm? I don't know if he got his connection back, but there was a confirmed tornado near Interstate 40. 114-mile-per-hour winds were just reported in Memphis, Texas. Holy! 115-mile-per-hour damaging winds in Memphis, Texas. 115. I have never said that large of a number ever for a severe thunderstorm. I literally, I don't even have words. That is absolutely insane. 115. That isn't even the area that we're supposed to see. I don't even have words. That is actually insane. 115 miles per hour was just confirmed there. 80 miles per hour back over in Clarendon. I'm surprised these warnings aren't upwards of 100 or 110. 115 was measured by a West Texas Mesonet as of 21 minutes ago. Well, it was 21 minutes ago, but still. That's actually insane. The maximum wind gust forecasted, by the way, at least by the Storm Prediction Center, was 100. I thought it'd be closer to 110. 114? That was definitely not in the playbook here, but holy cow. Oh yeah, power outage map. Let me take a look at that. Oh my goodness. I literally can't believe that. 115 miles per hour. We have a few counties out of power. This one specifically has not lost power yet, but we are a little bit behind on that. Yeah, we're not at that point yet on this. The power outage map's a little bit delayed. Was what I'm trying to say there. Holy, that's actually insane though. 115 miles per hour. That is insane. Yeah, this will probably be a derecho. Yeah, I mean this. At this point, I mean, if this doesn't tell you this could be a derecho, I don't know what will, because 115 miles per hour from a thunderstorm, not a tornado, is quite insane. This sort of setup. I mean, this setup is really primed for this sort of event, though, for a damaging wind, straight line wind threat. And we are really now seeing that with a 115 mile per hour damaging wind report. And obviously now the warning for western Oklahoma is damaging. Excuse me. Is damaging winds up to 90 miles per hour. I'm sorry about that. I literally just lost my breath. All right. I don't even know what just happened. All right. Sorry about that. I am good. I need to drink more water because I have not been drinking water. All right. Thank you, Brian, or Josh Bryan, for coming to Storm Chaser member. I appreciate it. I have never had that happen before. I don't know what that was. We have a new tornado warning for Greer and as well as Harmon County in Oklahoma as well, by the way. Brand new tornado warning there. I'm not seeing on the map right now, but there's a brand new tornado warning for Greer and as well as Harmon County, Oklahoma. That's for this storm, by the way, just to the west of Magnum. So if you're in this area, again, make sure to seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and interior room of your home. The warning currently, the rotation's north of Wellington, just for your information there. That's where our rotation is. And again, this will be moving towards 30 and 9 over the next several minutes. So again, make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. That's the latest there. How's it going, Alma? Wichita Falls, yeah, you can see some severe weather, probably closer to 8 to 9 o'clock tonight. That's gonna be your better chance there for severe weather. Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate it. We have a few photos, by the way. See if I can get to these. We have a few photos coming out of these storms that I'm getting sent in here. By the way, this is the line of storms approaching. I'll pull this up for a moment. This is the line of storms right now approaching the Oklahoma border right now. What we're seeing right now near the Oklahoma and Texas border. It has begun to rain. This is the severe storms. We're going to keep it on this cam for a few minutes because this will give you an idea of what's actually happening along this line of storms. The rain is picking up quite rapidly. And along with that, we are starting to see a ton of flashes and lightning. It is very active out there. Thank you again, Josh, by the way, for becoming a member. I appreciate it. One second. All right, I'm back. All right, we have a new tornado warning. Man, it is really, there's a lot of lightning out here. By the way, I went for a second. My family was calling just to make sure I was okay, just for an FY. All right, let me go over to the live radar because we do have a brand new tornado warning. Tornado warnings are actually, I don't think, updating right now on the radar. Let me see if they are not up. I don't think they're updating. We have a new tornado warning here in Oklahoma. It is not updated. Holy cow. Actually, I'm going to keep it on the live cam here for a second. The lightning is going insane here. We're going to stay on this because this is where the storms are right now. But we do have a new tornado warning for Beckham, Custer, Dewey, Ellis, Major, Roger Mills, and Woodward County. Those are the areas included in a brand new tornado warning. And as well as in Beckham, Greer, and Harmon County. Those are the other two that are in a tornado warning. Again, the tornado warnings are not updating on my map right now, so I'll have to probably refresh it, but yes, I am fine. Thank you. I am fine. Bowie, Texas might see some severe weather closer to 10 to 11 o'clock. Thank you, DK, for the 5 gifted members. I'm sorry, I missed that. Thank you very much, DK, for the 5 gifted members. Let's get some claps in the chat for DK. Appreciate the support a lot. Thank you. This lightning is insane right now in Oklahoma. Again, this is right on the border of Texas and Oklahoma. So you're seeing firsthand of what it looks like out there. The winds have been really gusty for at least a couple of minutes there. I'm not seeing the winds nearly as high right now, but yeah, the lightning is insane out here. Now we're can't really see the camera anymore. I think the wind is picking up too much out of the west. You can see the rain on the pavement there. Again, this is Interstate 40, and the rain is falling, and you can see it all on the surface there. It is blowing. Obviously, it looks like it's blowing from like top to bottom. So let me draw on the map here, or draw on the camera here. This is where it's blowing towards. The winds are coming now. It looks like out of the west. So the rain is now all kind of coming onto the camera here, which is gonna make it pretty difficult to see this here. How's it going, Lucy? Welcome back. How's it going, Lala? Thanks, Alma. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're unfortunately we can't really see anything anymore, but we had a pretty good view on this here a moment ago. All right. For now, we're gonna go off this camera because we are starting to lose any sight of what we're actually seeing out there. Again, for perspective, that is where we're at, was just west of Eldrick. Let me, or Edric, apologize, Edric. Let me real quick just refresh the software here because for some reason the radar was not updating with warnings. See if I can refresh it here. All right, there we go. Yeah, the warnings are on here now. This is the latest radar scan. We're actually going to go to the radar site now in southwest Oklahoma near Frederick. This will give us a better idea of what we have out here. So near Magnum, that is our new tornado warning here. We have some pretty strong rotation actually right now. Again, this is a destructive severe thunderstorm warning up to 90 miles per hour. Northeast of Dodson is where that rotation is the strongest right now. So that's our rotation. Tornado could happen at any time here. Very clean and strong inflow going into the storm as well. Near 30. So if you're in this area, make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. By the way, the severe thunderstorm warning here actually did get upgraded to 100 miles per hour. I did not notice that before. So 100 miles per hour was actually upgraded here. The severe thunderstorm warning in western Oklahoma is right now 90 miles per hour. So just a little heads up there. And there is a tornado warning that got really huge here. The other one that was issued, again, our radar or software wasn't updating, but this one is actually huge. It includes like 7 or 8 counties, and Sealing is the furthest north and east point, just southeast of Woodward, and this is going to go for another 42 minutes or another 35 minutes, excuse me. And this one is for a potential tornado. This one producing ping pong ball sized hail along with the storm moving around 85 miles per hour. So crazy stuff there. North of Hollis right now is where we're currently seeing, by the way, some pretty significant rotation, it looks like. Again, this is a very strong and clean inflow into the supercell. This is your hook. That is where the tornado will be located if we have one. I would not be surprised if we have a tornado on the ground here in the next few minutes. It's a very defined storm here. Again, that is west of Granite and Magnum. Moving off to the east-northeast. Also, new severe thunderstorm warning down for Childress. This is for 90 mile per hour damage, or excuse me, no, it's 80 mile per hour damaging winds. So we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning here for Childress. Back through areas near Paducah, that is for 80 mile per hour damaging winds and quarter-sized hail. Just a heads up there. The main storm that we'll be watching here is the one that's right here located north of Golden Hollis. This one's producing some very significant rotation. Mindful of that as that continues to move off to the north and northeast. All right. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Thanks, Lucy. I appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in. Granite could go PDS. Yeah, actually, let me check this out real quick. This is the radar. Let's look at the correlation coefficient. Now, I'm not seeing anything on the ground right now. So, at least in terms of debris being lifted up into the atmosphere. So, that would probably at least eliminate that probability for right now. But if there were to be a tornado on the ground, I would not be surprised because this storm has a very strong inflow. The inflow has actually gotten cut off a little bit in the latest scan, but also, we do have a new wind gust report of 78 miles per hour out of Everett. That's in Beckham County, Oklahoma. So a little heads up there. Again, we have 4 tornado warnings ongoing right now. 3 of which in western Oklahoma. The other one's going to be expiring in 3 minutes in eastern Texas Panhandle. That's where the other one is right now. We have a lot of hail reports, by the way, coming out of that area. 58 mile per hour wind gust was just reported in Goodlet, Texas. That is out in front of the line of storms. Again, most recently, 114 mile per hour damaging wind gust report out of Memphis, Texas. And I do wonder, I had a storm chaser in that area. Actually, he has just sent me photos. So I'm not sure what the exact location is here, but this was out of, I believe, near Memphis, Texas. Not sure if I can get a confirmation on that. Let's see. No, this is actually in a different area. This is, so I think this is Interstate 40. That's a look at the storm, though, that was moving through a little while ago. This is another photo as well. Out near that same area. I'm trying to figure out where that was. It looked like Interstate 40. I don't think it was. It might have been McLean. That might have been what it was. Yeah, that's McLean. So that was actually a little while ago. I didn't realize my storm chaser went that far. So I have a storm, or I don't have a storm chaser, but I know a storm chaser out here. And they were supposed to be actually in Memphis, Texas, believe it or not. Funny enough, they told me they're going to be in Memphis, Texas today. They actually went further north than I thought they did, or were going to. They actually are up in Interstate 40. And Memphis, I mean, he might have dodged a bullet because 114 mile per hour wind gusts, that could flip over some vehicles at that point. That is really wild there. Again, west of Magnum is still where we're watching for a potential tornado at any time. Very strong inflow going into the storm. Here are your velocities. Possibility for a tornado could be on the ground here at any time. That is, again, west of Magnum. This is your inflow going into the storm. This is your, I misdrew that. This is your inflow going into the storm, though. This would likely be a rain-wrapped tornado at this point, if there is any. This is where that tornado would be located. It would be in that little area there. And again, that is just to the east now of 30 and south of 9. It is moving off to the east-northeast. Magnum will be in the track of this, along with Willow. Those will be the two areas in the track of this here pretty soon. So if you're in this area, again, make sure you get to your safe place. Potential for a strong tornado would exist if this does hit the ground. Sanger, Texas is still in a cap, yes. Any Chinese balloon sightings? No. Interesting question. All right, let's go back over to Twitter real quick. I'm not sure if we have any other updates here. Let's see. Yeah, no other updates or reports at this point. A new tornado watch will be issued for those in central Oklahoma within the next hour or so, by the way. So just a heads up for those in central Oklahoma, new tornado watch is expected to be issued. That is this large area here. And the tornado threat, again, will not be overly high out here. It'll be more of a damaging wind threat, but the tornado threat also does exist. Storm Prediction Center just issued a new outlook, I believe, for the rest of tonight. Yeah, they did. The tornado threat has not shifted any further to the east. The significant threat is still western Oklahoma for tonight, just an FYI. And the hail threat, the largest of the hail for anything like significant wise, will be back out here in western Oklahoma. The damaging wind threat will continue all the way throughout Oklahoma. So that's the latest update there. Power outages are also starting to ramp up in the Texas Panhandle. Some counties are 50% without power now due to the very strong, severe storms, along with behind that dry line, wind gusts upwards of 80 to 90 miles per hour have already happened. So there's been some very significant wind gusts for sure. Thank you, Kyle, for the 199. What weather browse am I using? This isn't a weather browser. This is a software called WSV3. Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it. I try to be. It's the goal. Keep improving. Wichita Falls being the new tornado watch. You're already in a tornado watch, Wichita Falls. But if there's a new one, you probably will not be included. Actually, you could be included. It's possible. I wouldn't rule out that Wichita Falls gets included in this new tornado watch, just due to the fact that you might see storms after 9 o'clock. This tornado watch goes until 9 o'clock. So there might be some counties bordering here that actually get reissued into this tornado watch. So that's definitely possible. Look at the cell, man, near Magnum. Very crazy inflow going into this thing. See if we have any correlation coefficient drop. I'm not seeing any defined area of rotation. Possible here. Right there. We actually could potentially see some sort of maybe brief tornado drop. But yeah, there's again, that's your strong inflow there. Trying to get a better view of the velocities there. It's not tight and confined right now in the latest scan, but again, we have a very strong inflow going into the thunderstorm. We could very well see a tornado at any time west of Magnum. It's not out of the question. So if you're near 9 east of 30, definitely a possibility for maybe a tornado at some point. Inflow's right there. Again, that's your hook. But it's not nearly as defined as earlier. We had a much cleaner inflow before. It has become a lot more condensed with all the rain around it, so it might struggle to develop here over the next few minutes. Definitely not out of the question there. Here's a widespread view of all the storms, by the way. We'll put it into motion here over the last 30 minutes for just a moment. I don't know what that is, Cam, but okay. Is this going to do with the snow? There will be snow in the Midwest and the Northeast. This storm that is right now ongoing is what is actually going to be bringing some heavy snowfall along with the ice potential back up into the Northeast and the Midwest over the next few days. So, yeah, there will definitely be the potential for some snow and ice back up that direction. Again, if you want more details on that, that's my latest forecast. Main gum, thank you. Main gum. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Zoom all the way out. I can kind of zoom all the way out. The only problem is I'm on the close-up radar. This is the zoomed all the way out. It's actually kind of interesting looking at this. This is your low pressure system. It's all the way back up in Kansas. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive low pressure system here. Let me go back over to the close-up radar site here. It's the most recent radar scan. And this is back over to the velocities. Again, I'm not seeing anything defined in terms of a tight rotation here, even though it has been a very impressive supercell. But I'm not seeing anything defined for right now. Back down further to the south, we are getting a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Actually extending a bit further to the south than I expected tonight. Back through Snyder, damaging winds up to 60 are possible. So we are getting a very long line of storms. I almost guarantee you that this will be a derecho, but it's pretty likely at this point. It's getting to that point where we're going to start to see this really get very organized over the next 30 minutes. It will probably become a derecho over the next hour or two. So, pretty likely at this point. Florida will not get a temperature drop out of this, unfortunately. This is going to stay way off to the north. I don't think, at least I don't think. Wait, let me just double check here. Pretty sure Florida's not going to get any big pattern out of this. Let's see real quick. No, there won't be. The next potential front for Florida would be for the Thursday and Friday severe weather event, which I'll have a forecast on that probably tomorrow. Stay tuned. Yeah, the thing is with this setup, I mean, we've already had a 115 mile per hour damaging wind report confirmed. We've already had 150 mile per hour wind reported back over in Memphis. That's actually crazy. I mean, I mentioned this when that happened. It's wild that we had some sort of wind gust already at 115 miles per hour. This far to the west of where the line is now, over in Memphis, Texas, they weren't supposed to see that high of winds, at least from these severe storms. So it's very impressive what this has already done. And I can only imagine what it's going to do from here on out in terms of wind gusts and stuff like that. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for 90 mile per hour damaging winds right now. So yeah, it's pretty bad to say the least in terms of damaging winds. And it's going to be widespread. That's the big, problem. Derecho is basically a very long line of storms, typically around 250 miles, that produces widespread damaging winds over at least a 3-hour span. So how's it going, Clay? Welcome back. How's it going? Dave, yes, it's on PC. Not on like iPhone or anything like that, though. Bottom, probably just up to 60 mile per hour damaging winds for Texas. Anywhere in North Texas specifically. Very low tornado threat. Very low. All right, I'm going to see if there's any other rotation here. Let's see. Yeah, there's still some rotation here just to the west of Mangum. Along with that, again, back down here to the south, we have that line of storms right now ongoing, starting to develop, producing damaging winds up to 80 to 90 miles per hour. We have some rotation as well. Back near Strong City, for the most part, the rotation has been limited. It's been more of a straight line damaging wind threat without a doubt at this point. These storms are all, for the most part, moving east and northeast. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, these are moving to the northeast in a northeasterly direction. We have a couple of storms moving a bit more due east, but not by much. It's like northeast, east-northeast sort of. But they're moving around 70 miles per hour now. This is a very quick moving line of storms. It is not slow. Just over the last 30 minutes, this is what's happened. I mean, this line is moving quick. So it's moving much quicker than you might expect. But the setup that we have, the storm motion is going to be rapid off to the east and northeast for sure. All right, let me go over to here real quick. Let's do this. So apparently there's now a potential for a tornado right now on the ground. There is a tornado on the ground for sure. Confirmed tornado in Strong City. If you're in Oklahoma and Strong City, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. There is a confirmed tornado on the ground, it looks like, for sure. in Strong City. Strong rotation to go with this. If you are right now in Strong City, get to your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible. There's a definite strong tornado on the ground here. Or at least definitely a tornado. I don't know about strong, but there's a tornado on the ground again. Strong City, Oklahoma. That is where that tornado is right now, on the ground, moving off to the northeast near 33. This is pretty far north of Interstate 40, just for reference, but that is where our tornado is on the ground. This is our correlation coefficient indicating there is debris being lofted up into the atmosphere right now near Strong City. Next radar scan will be coming in here in about 30 seconds. We'll have an update there for you in just a moment. There's definitely a tornado here, though. Doing good, Andrew. How about you? Yeah, this is definitely a CC drop. This is definitely a tornado for sure. That is, without a doubt, there's a tornado on the ground here. Yeah, it has just been confirmed, by the way, just for anybody's knowledge here, that it has been confirmed. Actually, no, we have another confirmed tornado. There's now a confirmed tornado down here to the south. Back down near Mangum and west of Granite, there's a tornado confirmed here. Somewhere embedded in here, probably going to be closer to north of 9. That is where that tornado is likely on the ground now, west of Mangum. Again, if you're in this area, make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. So now we have 2 tornadoes on the ground. This one I don't think has any CC drop, though. If anything, it's very small. It's likely going through like some sort of field or something like that. So if there is a tornado on the ground still with this, it is likely going to be somewhat in a field, because that typically means we're not going to see a whole lot on the correlation coefficient drop. There's now 2 tornadoes on the ground now in Oklahoma. One again northwest of Mangum, and as well as another one near Strong City, Oklahoma. Tornado is likely located here north of 9. The other tornado is on the ground here near Strong City. This is the correlation coefficient drop. We clearly have debris being lifted up into the atmosphere right here near Strong City. That is a tornado on the ground there as well. I am surprised they've not upgraded this warning quite yet to a tornado being on the ground, but don't like this because it's getting close to me. Yeah, it's only going to get closer. It's going quick. Moving very quick. Hey, welcome back, Andrew. Welcome back. Yeah, there's a pretty strong inflow here. Again, we are kind of far away from the radar site, so it's hard to see it, but if we had a much better view of this radar site, we probably would be able to at least see a pretty tight and strong inflow into that storm. Unfortunately, we just don't have that great of a view here. This one had a very defined inflow. It is much less defined now due to the fact we have really just a ton of supercells around it now, which is making it very difficult for this storm to become organized. But yeah, it's definitely struggling right now. Bowie does have a cap. It's not nearly as strong as DFW. You'll probably still see some storms tonight. Everywhere in North Texas should see storms tonight. This won't be really all severe. Lawton will see storms probably in about an hour. So if you're in Lawton, an hour and a half is when you'll probably see storms there. Damaging winds, again, has been the biggest concern with these storms. We've seen, obviously, now 2 tornadoes confirmed. I believe now 3. I think Reed Timmer did confirm a tornado in Texas. So 2 in Oklahoma have now been confirmed. 1 confirmed by radar back up in Hammond, or Strong City specifically, not in Hammond. And then also another one was just confirmed down here near Mangum. Again, we don't have any specific... oh, now we probably do now. This is the area that we have. Again, this is the area that we're showing before that had potentially a tornado on the ground predefined again. That is likely a tornado on the ground near 9. If you're in this area, make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible, away from windows. Tulsa will not see nearly as high as of a severe weather risk. It'll be a bit lower out that direction, but the threat will still definitely be there. Damaging winds, again, being the main concern with maybe a brief tornado, but it will wind down like the slightest bit out that direction. The new oh, there we go. Yeah, this is now confirmed. Confirmed tornado again for those in this was already confirmed beforehand. I'm not sure if it's still on the ground. Let's just double check. That's our rotation northeast of Strong City. Yeah, tornado's still on the ground here. That is northeast of Strong City. Tornado's been on the ground probably for a good 5 to 10 minutes. If you're northeast of Strong City, make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. There's likely a tornado on the ground. Still, this was already on the ground previously, but this is now just obviously confirming it from the Storm Prediction Center, or National Weather Service, excuse me, in Oklahoma. The rotation is, or at least the correlation coefficient has become a bit smaller. It was a bit more defined before. Yeah, you can see here, defined debris near Strong City at about 720. Most recently, it has gotten a bit smaller, which likely indicates a bit of a weakening trend here, but again, it could redevelop at any time. Virginia, which one? Are you talking about this one? We have 2 tornado warnings, by the way. Both of them, which have, at this point, have tornadoes on the ground. As an FYI. Line of storms, again, producing damaging winds up to 90 miles per hour up and down the line, all the way through western Oklahoma. So that's what we're looking at right now. James, for derechos, the winds have to be upwards of at least 60 miles per hour or higher. And that would be across pretty much the entire line of storms, which would be about 250 miles or so. So this is pretty much in that category of being a derecho, or it's not yet in the category of being a derecho, but it'll probably be one at the end of the night. I mean, this entire line is spanning. Let me actually look here. We can measure it on the map. Yeah, it's about 300 miles for the severe winds that we're seeing. That again would be for winds 60 miles per hour or greater for most of the storm activity here. And yeah, we're definitely, that's about 315 miles right now or so. So yeah, this is definitely going to probably be a derecho by the end of the night. Just depends on what happens over the next hour or two. But as long as it lasts about 3 hours, it should be considered one. We're going to stay on the storm near Granite for now. Yeah, I think this storm is probably starting to lose some of its rotation here. It's not as defined as before. There's no defined area of rotation. It was confirmed briefly, but the inflow has gotten cut off. The storm is now well behind now the main line of storms, so it's probably going to struggle there to redevelop in terms of a tornadic supercell. The one back up here to the north near Lede, let's see if there's anything left here. Yeah, the correlation coefficient is also completely diminished on this storm as well. So it looks like both of the tornadoes that were on the ground are now no longer on the ground for the time being, but you should still stay in shelter in case they are, because they sometimes do reappear every radar scan or two. But it does seem like both of them have lifted for the time being. New tornado watch was just issued, by the way, for those in a large chunk of Oklahoma. It has not popped up on my map yet. I will show you, though, what it looks like here. This is the latest on a tornado watch issued for really all of the rest of Oklahoma. 4 counties, looks like, not included in southeast Oklahoma. There are 2 actually included in North Texas. So that's our brand new tornado watch for those in Oklahoma. Few tornadoes likely, scattered hail up to ping pong ball sized hail, and widespread gusts up to 90 miles per hour. We could again see a storm or two produce over 90 miles per hour. We've already had one confirmed report of 115 miles per hour out of a storm from about an hour ago. So there has been some very significant winds already today. The line of storms right now is moving about 60 to 70 miles per hour. Thank you, Monster, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you. Checking on this real quick. All right. We do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued until 8:15. That is going to include areas through Weatherford in Oklahoma. That is not Texas, that's Oklahoma. West of the Oklahoma City metro, 80 mile per hour damaging winds and ping pong ball sized hail will be possible through those areas. So again, make sure you stay away from windows lowest floor possible as these storms approach. damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour, can cause damage just like a tornado. So I would not be anywhere near windows and at least on the lowest floor as this line of storms approaches your location. 80 mile per hour damaging winds along with ping pong ball sized hail. We could even see a brief tornado embedded in these storms as well, which would be very dangerous. So you're staying away from windows. Yeah, for right now, it seems like both of the tornadoes at this point are no longer on the ground. Let me go to this here. All the watches and warnings just got taken off for some reason. There we go. Again, we have a new tornado watch for central Oklahoma. Has not appeared on here yet, but there is a new tornado watch for almost the rest of Oklahoma into actually 2 counties in North Texas. That would be Clay County, I think Henrietta County or something like that. There's 2 counties back over there near Wichita Falls that were just included. Rotation south of Childress, or near Childress. Let's see. Go over to the storm relative velocities here. I'll go to the, actually, this is the closest radar site. I'll have to go back onto here. Let's go back a scan. Looks like it's glitched out here. But yeah, it looks like there might be a couple of areas there near Quanah. Those areas are starting to get a little bit of rotation, it looks like. That is just west of Quanah right now. All right, it just glitched out again. It's the second time. All right, here's your new tornado watch for those that are wondering. New tornado watch for almost all of Oklahoma now. 4 counties not included in southeast Oklahoma. That's the latest on the brand new tornado watch. This is your live radar feed. I haven't seen any big power outages yet. It's been primarily in the Texas Panhandle. Let's check out Oklahoma. Yeah, for right now, the power outages have been very widespread in Collingsworth and Donnelly County. That's the area that saw wind gusts about 115 miles per hour. So those areas have seen about 100% without power now in Texas. But Oklahoma so far, we've had no new updates on power outages yet. I'm assuming there will be probably at least numerous power outages here in western Oklahoma, but it is to be determined. We've had no confirmed power outages quite yet. Should get that here pretty soon. You had your stream about 14 minutes delayed. That's impressive. There's always a timestamp at the top left in case you ever think you're way behind. Just always refresh the stream. It actually happens to me on when I'm watching it too for some reason. It, like, for some reason goes back. It's weird. All right. No problem, Mike. See if there's any other Twitter updates here. Doesn't look like, for those that are down here, by the way, I don't think a watch will be issued, but there will be winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Back over near Abilene. Storm Prediction Center just issued a mesoscale discussion. I'm not sure if they'll issue a watch there, but I'll keep you posted on that. It should come out here in a second. That'd be for like Abilene, excuse me. So. All right, let me go back over to the velocities real quick. No other updates on Twitter. Back over here near Mangum, again near Willow and Granite. That is where we're currently still seeing a little bit of rotation, especially near Willow. Let's go over to the correlation. Again, no debris being lifted up into the atmosphere. We go a bit further off to the north near Leedy. This area had a tornado warning and a confirmed tornado. I do not think that's on the ground anymore either. So the 2 tornadoes that we had on the ground, it seems like both of them have lifted for the time being. I've had no other reports since then. That was about a good 10 minutes ago or so now that we had a couple tornadoes on the ground. But might be another one near, let me look, near Mangum. This is the velocities again. If there were to be a tornado now, it'd be located back near Lone Wolf. This is the area that I'm assuming you're looking at, would be right here. I'm gonna guess that that's not debris. Or it might be debris, but I'm guessing it's not a tornado, mainly due to the fact that this is right along the leading edge of damaging winds. That could be dust kicking up too. It's definitely possible near Granite. So We definitely could be talking about some dust kicking up there. Yeah, the 2 tornado warnings now, it seems like both of them right now do not have a tornado on the ground, but that could obviously change at any time. So stay in shelter if you're in any of these areas. There was actually a video on Twitter near Mangum. There was a tornado on the ground. This is at least 5 minutes ago, so it was probably a few minutes ago with the storm here, but looks like there may have been a tornado. Kind of hard to tell. The photo that I'm seeing here looks like maybe a small tornado of some sort there that was near Mangum. So there was, at least it seems like, a tornado out of this. Obviously, it was confirmed, and it still is right now. There's obviously on this tag, it still says observed. So there might still be a tornado on the ground here. But for those near Granite and Mangum, again, that is where we're watching for the threat of a tornado at any time out of this area of storms that's moving toward Hobart, as well as Sentinel, and eventually towards Cordell. The other one up here is going to expire in 5 minutes, so that one should be pretty much done after this. And then this one will be the main concern from here on out. Yeah, a tornado watch was just issued for a large chunk of Oklahoma. It's pretty much the rest of Oklahoma. A couple counties in North Texas as well are included. So it's the main region that we're looking at in terms of the new tornado watch. But again, I would expect much higher damaging wind threat than a tornado threat as this area does move into Oklahoma. So that's at least what I think at this point. We have a new tornado warning for those in Roosevelt, as well as Gobedo, Hobart, and Lone Wolf. This is, again, a new tornado warning. This is associated with that little area of rotation there near Granite. This goes until 8:30. Damaging winds as well up to 80 to 90 miles per hour will be possible, along with golf ball sized hail. So again, if you're in this area, brand new tornado warning for this region. Again, we have a couple of them, but the main one here will be near Hobart, as well as going towards Roosevelt. This will probably be a derecho. Almost guarantee it'll probably be a derecho at this point. Greer and Kiowa County. That's where we're at right now for this new tornado warning. All right. Well, I did say I was going to end the stream at 7:30. I went a little bit beyond that. I have to do some homework tonight. I have to at some point because they're all due at 12 o'clock tonight. So I do have to end the stream now, because I actually only have like 3 hours. So I have to end the stream now, but I do appreciate everybody tuning in. There is a lot of live coverage on YouTube. So if you need to watch somebody else, there are a bunch of people that you can look up. Evan Freiberg is one of them. I think Nate Snyder might be live streaming. So if you need to watch any of those people, make sure to check them out. Again, they will be on YouTube. Just use the search bar if you need live coverage. I will try to go live if I get done in time, sometime about 9 o'clock or so, once this, derecho most likely does move through central Oklahoma. But if I can't, make sure to watch those people. I do apologize. I would be live longer, but I already mentioned this would be probably a shorter live stream. I have like 4 homework assignments to do at 12 o'clock. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, there's a lot of live coverage on YouTube. I appreciate everybody with the support. Thank you again, Josh, for becoming a member tonight. Rebecca, I apologize. I'll be posting updates on Facebook on North Texas Weather Center. So if you need updates, you can always check that out on Facebook for North Texas primarily, but I'll do a little bit of Oklahoma too. And also, thank you for the donation, $50 from, I think it was Rob earlier. I appreciate the $50 donation again. Thank you guys all for the support. I appreciate it. Thanks for all for tuning in. Have a safe rest of your night. Again, damaging winds up to 90 miles per hour will be possible all the way through Oklahoma. And again, if I don't go live again tonight, we'll see you guys all again probably tomorrow in tomorrow's forecast. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Stay safe. Have a good night.